I just have some things to get off my chest about net neutrality. Remember that net neutrality is the concept that all packets on the internet should be equal. No packets blocked or given priority over others based on their content. Funny how the web got along pretty well for 24 years without it. But now people are acting like entire sites will be shut down now by these evil ISPs once it's gone. Well, I want to talk about a couple of things that have been completely allowed by net neutrality. While net neutrality was in place, we had the addition of something called EME to the web standards. EME is Encrypted Media Extensions, and it's a DRM standard for the web. DRM is Digital Rights Management. And it basically means that when you watch something on Netflix, you have to watch it the way they want you to, using their app or their website on an EME-compliant browser. And if you have a device that doesn't have either of those, you can't watch it. So you don't get to put it on a USB key and watch it on a smart TV that doesn't have the Netflix app, even though you paid for it. The idea is that this prevents piracy. It doesn't, but let's ignore that for now. Cory Doctorow and the Electronic Frontier Foundation pointed out some problems with EME. I'm linking to their open letter to the W3C so that you can read all about it for yourself. But the only thing they were asking for was some reasonable assurances. They wanted a covenant where content makers can absolutely go after people who violate copyrights, but they wanted them to agree to not use it to go after people who bypass DRM for non-infringing purposes, including accessing the content to make a legitimate backup, or produce a derivative work allowed under fair use exemptions, or producing accessible versions such as foreign language subtitles for the hearing impaired, or text-to-speech options for protected ebooks, and security researchers looking into extensions to find security holes that put internet users at risk. These were basic, common-sense exceptions that did nothing to stop corporations from enforcing their copyrights, and yet they couldn't get anyone else at the W3C behind this covenant. Even Tim Berners-Lee, the creator of the World Wide Web, was against it, in complete abeyance of everything he says he stands for. As a result, the EFF resigned from the W3C. Oh, and by the way, most of the companies that have been leading the charge for net neutrality regulation, like Google, Netflix, and Microsoft, have also been leading the charge for DRM standards, and they also opposed this covenant. Turns out, packets aren't so equal after all. We've also seen governments engaging in wholesale blocking of entire sites such as the Pirate Bay and ExtraTorrent, even though much if not most of the content on those sites was non-infringing. It's a great project such as Linux distributions. But they didn't just take down the infringing content torrents who were able to prove that they were in complete compliance with the letter of the DMCA in taking down infringing content when they were notified, which should have given them safe harbor. Net neutrality means that all packets are equal, but I guess some packets are more equal than others. We've also seen people, primarily on the control left, act to shut down political speech of people they don't like, such as Milo Yiannopoulos. First, they got Twitter to take away the verified mark on his account, which only means that it's really him and not an impersonator. By doing that, they changed that mark from one of verification to one of endorsement, and that slippery slope led to the de-verification of many conservatives and libertarians. It culminated in Yiannopoulos and others being banned from Twitter. Twitter banning conservatives? A-okay, apparently. But Verizon makes Netflix run a little more slowly, and these people go absolutely ape. I mean complete 800-pound gorilla. YouTube is taking similar action against videos and channels, demonetizing or at least limiting monetization of content they claim isn't advertiser friendly, while leaving monetization on videos by big media companies covering the exact same subjects. Meanwhile, the control left is calling for hate speech laws to be passed, censoring any speech they deem hateful, which seems to mean anything to the right of Karl Marx, and they've had success getting them passed and enforced in Europe, Canada, and elsewhere. New wave feminists, including Brianna Wu, Anita Sarkeesian, and Zoe Quinn, even got an audience at the UN and convinced them to advocate censoring content that hurts their feelings. They're even going after press freedoms, censoring news websites they don't like, calling them fake news. And again, a lot of this is being done by Google and other advocates of net neutrality. All packets are created equal, except for the ones that say things that we don't like. Here's the bottom line to all of this. If you're against the repeal of net neutrality, then listen up. If you're in favor of DRM, the DMCA, and so on, and or think the government should block torrent sites, you're a hypocrite and no one with a brain should listen to you. If you're in favor of so-called hate speech laws and think it's great that people like Milo Yiannopoulos were banned from Twitter, you're a hypocrite and no one with a brain should listen to you. If neither of those is the case, then think about where you heard the arguments that led to your current position and ask those two questions about them. And if they either support DRM or hate speech laws, then you need to seriously consider whether or not you got good information from them. And no matter what, you really might want to consider that you're merely being a useful idiot to the control left. After having to deal with censorship, people being banned from social media, people losing monetization, people even being jailed for speech, often for as much as 5 years, there's one unmistakable fact. We had less freedom online at the end of 2016 than we did at the end of 2014 before net neutrality passed. If you're not speaking out at least as loudly about DRM and hate speech bans, then you need to shut up about net neutrality. Hey, if you enjoyed this video, why not hit like and subscribe? And to make sure I can keep producing content, support this channel by becoming a patron. And check out all the other great content here, like this video selected especially for you.